What's up, in gang? And today we are going to be talking about the possible titles that could launch with the new console, this Nintendo Switch 2 or whatever it's going to be called. We're going to dive into every game that could possibly release with it, games that we've had leaks and, insiders talk about, and also games that just seem logical because they would help the console sell better. Before moving into the video, let me remind you that we are trying to get to 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year. I know it's a huge goal, but I'm pretty sure we can do it, so please consider subscribing if you like the content, and we'll jump right in. Now, first things first is games that we have got a lot of leaks, and I've seen a lot of other large YouTubers talk about, and we're just going to start with those, and I'm not going to spend too much time on them because these are leaked and, of course, not super possible, but they do seem possible, and I think it's worth talking about. So the first is Mario, and a open world Mario game is what has been leaked. If you know Nintendo Land, he is another Nintendo YouTuber. He talks about this a lot on his channel, and it is definitely something that it seems possible. We have not got an open world Mario game. We had Bowser's Fury, which seemed like a kind of test run for what an open world Mario game could look like, but it wasn't a full open world game. And I think that it's very possible to get this. We have seen a lot of leaks referencing towards this, but also it does seem like something that, you got to be careful about just saying that is 100% true, because it is a leak and leaks can have, reliability and stuff, but after everything, they are always a leak and can be proved wrong. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is Mario Kart. Mario Kart is a huge title. You've almost certainly played it at least a couple times. This is the best-selling game on the Nintendo Switch, and most people know Mario Kart because a lot of people play with friends and family, and it's very likely to come to the new console as not only possible launch title, possibly the first or one of the first games to come to the game, but also it could be the best games to come to this console. Looking through the eyes of Nintendo, if they want to sell the new console well, having a game that sold the best on their old console is just a very good way of marketing, and I think would not only gain Nintendo more buys on the new console if the game's only playable on the new console, but also it would gain them a lot of buys for this game because Mario Kart is a highly played game. We've also had leaks for Mario Kart, and we've seen some leaks pointing towards the new Mario Kart game. So I think it's very likely. This is probably the top of my list. I'm probably going to say this is the most likely. Now, of course, this is not a Nintendo video if we do not bring up The Legend of Zelda. The Legend of Zelda series, I feel like, brings in an older audience while still also bringing in the younger audience, because an older audience sometimes will think that Mario games are childish, and so they will not go to the Nintendo Switch for those, but they'll still go back to the Nintendo Switch or a Nintendo console that is currently the newest for a Legend of Zelda game, because these are very popular games. And I think that it's possible that we could get an announcement for a Legend of Zelda game during the early stages of the Switch 2, but probably not as a early launch title, because we are closing in on the 40th anniversary of the Legend of Zelda series. That is 2026, and I believe that that is when we are going to get an announcement for an open world Zelda game. I'm going to make a whole video on that later when we get closer to that, but it does seem like we could see a Zelda game, whether it be open world or just be a more simple Zelda game, in the early stages of the new console, because Legend of Zelda is a huge series, and it's likely that this will be one of the early titles of the Nintendo Switch 2. Now, of course, Nintendo's going to need an online competitive multiplayer game, and what better game than Splatoon 4, or whatever this next Splatoon game is going to be. It's one of the most played online multiplayer games on the Nintendo Switch, if not the most played. I'm not sure on that, but it is definitely one of the top most played online multiplayer games on the Nintendo Switch, and it definitely makes sense for this to be an early title. I wouldn't say a launch title, because Nintendo has not necessarily ended Splatoon games and then started the next one super soon, seeing as Splatoon 3 has not yet ended entirely. I think that it could be more 2026, around the time I was talking about The Legend of Zelda getting a new game. It would make sense for it to come out then, but definitely an early title for this new console will be a Splatoon 4 or whatever this next Splatoon game will be. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think. Which games do you think will be early titles or launch titles? And also make sure to like this video if you liked it, and I'll catch you all on the next one. Later, guys.